fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford lashes out at Floyd Mayweather following the leak of sparring footage. He says he feels betrayed, making it clear that he expected more respect from someone who claimed to be close to him. Crawford expresses his frustration that private training sessions were made public and emphasizes that such behavior should never have come from a fellow champion.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, you know, and how he was acting. Then that, you know, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, you know, we was all cool at one point in time. And, you know, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, you know, signed, you know, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that.
Eddie Hearn's comments sparked debate about Crawford's future. On one hand, Hearn suggests retirement, noting that Crawford's legacy is already cemented, multiple divisions conquered, elite opponents defeated, and a resume worthy of all-time great status. Retiring now would protect his image forever. On the other hand, Hearn admits that the lure of massive paydays, especially with Saudi investment in cross-promotional spectacles, might pull Crawford back into the ring. He understands the tension between preserving legacy and chasing financial opportunity.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off? Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money. And there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, who was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe.
Floyd Schofield believes Crawford should walk away while on top. In his eyes, Crawford has already achieved greatness, pound-for-pound recognition, multiple world titles, and victories against the best of his era. Schofield isn't questioning Crawford's skill but warns that fighting on could invite unnecessary risks. If Crawford does continue, Schofield argues it should only be against young, hungry contenders like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin. He acknowledges, however, that Crawford has nothing left to prove and could retire with an untarnished legacy.
I feel like Crawford, you know, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Jerron. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Really?
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
The fantasy of a prime Crawford versus a prime Mayweather fuels endless online debates. Fans argue over styles, Floyd's defensive genius and unmatched IQ against Crawford's adaptability and killer instinct. But the reality is that Mayweather is past his prime, and a modern-day clash would be more spectacle than true contest. The dream matchup remains just that, a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, you know, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, you know, fights, you know, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement, footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts remind fans that numbers don't always tell the whole story. Mayweather's 50-0 record in pay-per-view dominance made him a global figure, while Crawford's legacy rests on becoming undisputed across multiple divisions, a feat Floyd never achieved. The comparisons are difficult, shaped by different eras, opponents, and contexts. Ultimately, greatness isn't just about accolades, it depends on timing, style, and execution inside the ring.
Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11, so you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, you know, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, you know, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah, who fought Mayweather himself, praises Crawford as the king of this era. He notes how every generation crowns a new standout and even recalls Canelo Alvarez once saying Crawford might be better than Floyd. Judah highlights how Crawford's success across weight classes, carrying power, composure, and timing at every level, proves his completeness. To him, it's a symbolic passing of the torch. Floyd ruled his time, but Crawford rules now.
To knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size would be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds. Yeah, about 3 rounds. How did you score? You score about sound about fair?
What's up?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, can't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 impossible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion.
Who?
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Who?
Terence Crawford.
He's #1 right now. #1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not right. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, that, he know?
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to see a rematch?
Not a rematch. Rematches will always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting this topic earlier.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
What's up?
My boys are dogs.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Thank you.
Crawford argues that Canelo's perspective carries more weight than fans' opinions because Canelo experienced both fighters firsthand. But he stresses the circumstances were very different. Mayweather faced a young, inexperienced Canelo, while Crawford fought him as a seasoned champion at super middleweight. For Crawford, that distinction matters. Beating a matured Canelo carries a different significance than Floyd's win, even if both deserve respect.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather pushes back, insisting context is key. He points out that when Floyd fought Canelo, Floyd himself was past his athletic peak, relying on experience rather than speed or explosiveness. Yet he still completely shut down a dangerous young opponent. To Jeff, comparing Floyd's version of Canelo to Crawford's version is unfair. They were entirely different points in both fighters' careers.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep water. So.
What was Canelo? What, 21? 23? 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
Well, Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Okay. So, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
To
make himself look like he did something great.
Buddy McGirt praises Crawford's tactical brilliance in the Canelo fight. He notes that Crawford dictated the pace, distance, and rhythm throughout, never falling into Canelo's traps. While Mayweather outthought opponents with defense and patience, Crawford added aggression and finishing ability. For McGirt, Crawford's performance wasn't just a win, it was a masterclass that placed him among the greatest technicians in boxing history.
Yes. Like, what fight were they watching? Right. I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is, and you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, nah, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, you know, he did mention that, you know, he's better than Mayweather. But I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, you know, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, you know, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody, he's did everything, but, you know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So, we're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing, he has nothing to prove. You know, he fought Terence and nobody else would.
An analyst highlights the contrast in careers. Mayweather built a global persona, selling fights with charisma and polarizing storylines, while Crawford has never been a blockbuster pay-per-view star. But this doesn't diminish his skills. Some even argue that Crawford's natural ability, switch hitting, controlling range, and finishing opponents, might surpass Floyd's. Where Mayweather was cautious and defensive, Crawford is ruthless and dynamic, making him equally difficult to beat but far more entertaining to watch.
Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ, and not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far, and I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
That concludes today's discussion. Stay tuned for more.